All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is June 25th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Let's take a look at some charts today. Let's see how I made 20K. Let's take this down, take that down. All right, so 20K. Okay, you can see right here I traded some puts. If we look at price action, I'll put those puts up there. And you can see we had a 10-minute downtrend all day. Basically for today, you can see a 10-minute downtrend underneath VWAP. All right, 10-minute downtrend. So I bought the lows and sold the highs of the option. In other words, when price pulled back, I loaded more puts. When price dipped, I unloaded puts. Okay, so made some money on those. That's about 18K on those. Some 625 calls. Made some about 4,300 on those, and that was from price ripping right up here. Okay, that's about it. And I sold those to make some profit on those calls. So you can see on those. Oh, nice rip right here. Got a nice move on those into the close here. All right, 1900 on some 595 puts. Again, buying puts on the peaks and unloading them into the valleys as price favored the option, which was a put. Okay, so you can see right here I'm selling, and then I'm buying. Okay, I'm buying here in the peaks and selling into the valley here. Okay, buying into the peaks, selling into the valley right there. All right, so there's those 595 puts, 610 calls. Okay, just buying the dip here after I've seen the exhaustion candle on the 3-minute chart. Okay, we spotted the exhaustion candle. All right, so you can come back here and look at the 3-minute chart. You can see of all the red candles, this is the biggest red candle from the move high down to the pivot. Pivot's at 605.60. Okay, so right down into the pivot. Biggest red candle you ever seen from this move up here. This is the rally high right there. Okay, so price action that kind of signaled the end of the move down, and now we're looking for price to rally back up towards VWAP. As you can see, we started with an igniting move, pulled back, found some support on the overnight low, and then we rallied back to VWAP, and that's where I made some money selling calls into that rally back to VWAP, as you can see right there. 620 calls. All right, that's just trying to I was underwater. I'm buying the lows and selling the peaks in order to bring my cost average down to 2 pennies or 1 penny. So we'll see what happens with that. It's 4 p.m. So that's how I made the 20K today. All right, so 10-minute downtrend almost all day up until about 3 p.m. We had that 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. And then, of course, that exhaustion candle kind of signaled a trip back to VWAP back here. Still made a slightly higher high, but not a really significant higher high. So we'll see what happens. We may be coming all the way back down here to visit yesterday's low of day. We'll see what happens. We are bullish, consolidating up here in this upper move. If you look at this move up, if we take from this low, that 595 low, okay, because that's where we came from on the 23rd, and you can see we're excuse me, we're in the upper quadrant up here of that low from 593, 592. So that's bullish up there. All right, let's take a look at I wouldn't want to take a look at. Let's take a look at the map. All right. Here's the map. This is where price action came up into the supply zone. And where are we on the map right now? Let's take a look at that. And we'll update the map right here. So you can see price action came back. Then we came back to, oh, there it is. All right, already updated. You can see, let me take those off. Okay, so you can see price. We've already gone back up to 605 for the second time. And then we came back to 593, 592 for the second time. So see up, back here, 593 for the first time. Now back up to 605 for the second time. Back down to 593 for the second time. And now we've got back to 605 for the third time. And instead of having a pullback here, all right, what we have so far is a rip higher. All right, and then I'm looking for a pullback here. Okay, and that's kind of where we are right now. With that pullback right there, we came down to 605.60, and now tomorrow we're going to have GDP coming out, and I got to tell you, with the low dollar, I think GDP is going to be good, and I can probably foresee the possibility of a move higher. All right, out of there from the GDP coming in tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. So that's where we are with the map right now. Okay, so again, back up to 605 for the third time. We went through it, went up to 608, pulled back, 605, and now we're looking for GDP to take us out of here, hopefully up to the all-time highs sometime tomorrow. We'll see. All right, we'll see what they want to do. All right, we're looking forward to GDP at 8:30 tomorrow morning. So I've been following this map, and traders have been following the map in the room, and it's been working out pretty nicely for us. But that's our next move. I believe. We'll see. All right, I don't always get what I want. It doesn't exactly work out exactly as planned, but this is what I kind of have planned right now. Now, we got some peace in the Middle East. That's great news. Like to see some free trade agreements come through. That would be really nice. We got the dollar consolidating at the lows of the year. Like to see that make another leg down. That would be nice. That would help inspire the market to move higher. GDP coming in really good, like 3.0, 3.5, 4.0. That would be really nice. That would help inspire the market to move higher. In other words, some record sales coming in from overseas. That would help inspire the market to move higher. Maybe some free trade deals. That would help inspire the market. And some rate cuts. All of those are close and on the table. That could take us up to 620, 650 area. We'll see what happens, but right now everything is still bullish. Okay, and I'm following the map right there. So let's go take a look at a few other charts. All right, and let's take a look at. Let's take this down, and we'll look at our 10-minute chart. So into the close, we got. You can see the 3 EMAs up on top of the 8. So you got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close right there. Okay, so 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2-hour chart. I think we still have a 2-hour uptrend. Yep, still got a 2-hour. Let me put it on the daily game plan one right there. So you can see 10-minute uptrend coming into the close on the 2-hour. Let's look at the 2-hour. Pick up a clean one here. All right, 2 hours, still got a 2-hour uptrend. I like that. Daily chart. All right, right here on the daily chart. Let's move this stuff out of the way. Okay. Higher low, higher high. So new rally high made today. So we're kind of melting up. All right, we're melting up right now. Higher low, higher high. Closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Closing up over the 17. That's bullish. Price action up there in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Okay, up there in quadrant 4. I'm going to take these off because we don't need them. All right, so that's bullish. You can see up over the all-time high. Might as well delete this. It's just getting in the way. Price up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. That's bullish. You can see we're up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Price structure is still as consolidated over prior consolidation. That's bullish. Maybe we consolidate again over prior consolidation right here. So we'll see what happens. We are definitely moving up. Maybe we move up to maybe, who knows, 612. All right, and then or maybe 615. All right, and then we start to consolidate from 605 up to 615. We'll see what happens. The all-time high, of course, is, I think that's like all-time high is close to 613.23. Okay, so we'll see what happens. So you can see this is where I picked my consolidation to probably most likely happen as we return to, this is the supply zone. Notice we spend 4 months right here from November to March consolidating over to the right. So as we hit the supply zone, I figured there's a good chance we're going to probably consolidate up there, and we're still bullish. So I figured we're probably going to do consolidation over consolidation. Who knows? Maybe we do some more consolidation over consolidation. We'll see where we go from here. Really nice to see the killing stop in the Middle East. That's great. A lot of good news projected. We'll see what happens. Rate cut would be nice. Free trade deals would be nice. A lot of rate cut. I didn't say that. A lot of good stuff. GDP coming out soon. So we could have some good numbers that take us up to 620, 650. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right. Today right now we're at 606.78. Okay, so that's really good news right there. Moving up, holding the higher ground over yesterday's base breakout. So that's nice. So there's SPY. Let's take a look at, we just looked at that. What do I like to trade is especially like a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that's inside of a 2-hour uptrend. We got a 2-hour uptrend right now. We just didn't have that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP today. I like to see that. Also, that 2-hour uptrend in a daily uptrend. The daily uptrend inside of the weekly uptrend or weekly candles that are moving up. You can see here on the weekly chart, we don't quite have technically a weekly uptrend, but the weekly candles are not moving down, they're moving up. So we got weekly candles that are moving up, and inside of a monthly uptrend, if you look at the monthly chart, we're still green right here. So you can see price action on the monthly chart. We're still in a monthly uptrend because we never made a lower low. So we got, so what do I like? 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, inside of a 2-hour uptrend, inside of a daily uptrend, inside of a weekly uptrend or weekly candles moving up, inside of a monthly uptrend, and all of that structure, okay, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's this pink line right here, okay? For me, that's my favorite setup right there, to have all of that over the all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, a lot of potential to move higher when you got that kind of stack of price action going on. All right, I like that. So that's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. All right, so I'm going to venture to say QQQ. Oh, by the way, QQQ made new all-time highs today. Okay, so it doesn't get any better than that. All right, new all-time highs. Okay, just doesn't get any better than that. Let's take another look at FNGB. No, FNGU now. It's back to FNGU. Price action: higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17. That's bullish, closing over the trap. Higher low, higher high, closing up in quadrant 4. Okay, that's bullish over the uptrend line, bullish over this. See this pink line? That's the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's very bullish. And if we look at this price structure, we've got consolidation over prior consolidation. You can see here's a consolidation brick, and then we've got more consolidation. So you can see consolidation over prior consolidation. That's always a bullish environment, all right? When you see those clues, you want to look for those 10-minute uptrends to trade, because those are gonna work more often than they're gonna fail, and they're going to go much further. And it's going to be a whole lot easier trading when you're trading with the trend. Okay, it's really hard when you're trading against the trend, because it just keeps dropping or running away from you, and it's very hard to catch up to it, or even just get out at break even. Okay, when you're trading with the trend, it's very nice. All you got to do is buy the lows and sell the highs. It's really a piece of cake when you trade with the trend. So we're big time trend traders. All right, like I said, we like those 10-minute uptrends over VWAP and those 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Especially like it when you see 10 minutes downtrend running away from VWAP. In other words, you get that separation of price action in there. I'm coming down with something, but we'll see what happens. So see the separation. Okay, see that 10-minute trend. You got the 3 underneath the 8 here. So there's a 10-minute trend. See the separation. See the air or the space in between the candlesticks and the 2 moving averages, which is the 3 and the 8. All right, between VWAP, which is this brown line. Okay, that's where lots of money can be made right there. All right, when you get that separation. All right, so that's what we like, is either separation to the upside or separation to the downside. Okay, now this would have been a counter trend trade. Okay, you got to think about it. Everything is bullish, so playing a 10-minute downtrend, look how it doesn't quite go as far. I mean, we only dipped $1.50. See, there's 608 roughly. See, 607.92. So roughly 608 down to 605.50. So about $2, $2.50. Okay, so it's not a very big move. All right, especially, and it took this 5 hours, because it started at let's just say 9:30. All right, and it lasted until, let's just say, 2:30. So that's like 5 hours to stay in this, only to move $2.50. It's nice if you know what you're doing and you're willing and you have the courage to sell the peaks and buy the lows. All right, but I'm just saying, like to see, you're going to see those uptrends blast further, and you'll get better movement out of those 10-minute uptrends over VWAP that are inside those 2-hour uptrends, inside those daily uptrends. So this was counter trend right here. So you can see it doesn't go far, only about $2.50 all the way, like from the top to the bottom here. Okay, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Let's go back to FNGU. Okay, that's in an uptrend, if you didn't know it. Okay, quadrant 4, that's bullish, making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. Uptrends are always bullish as long as price is moving up. Okay, so there's FNGU in that uptrend, breaking out over this base. Look at that base of looks like about 10 or 12 candles right there, and we're getting a breakout of the base over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's a really bullish setup right there. Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow is Look at price move up from this low and hold the higher ground up here. Okay, that's bullish. Anytime you get price to hold that higher ground, that's bullish. Look at Diamond Dow. We got looks like an inside day. Okay, lower high, higher low, closing over the trap. That's bullish. Over the 17. That's bullish. Got higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so that's bullish. We're up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. As long as this price is moving up, that is bullish. And you can see us consolidating near the highs of the rally. Okay, that's bullish. And we're up in quadrant, I'll just say we're in the upper third. Okay, so that's bullish up there. Okay, and then in uptrends, take a look at IWM. All right, IWM got a, well, that's a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. That's bullish. Over that all-time high anchored VWAP, that's also bullish. Just kind of neutral through here, but if we take price structure, kind of box it off, you can see consolidation here over some prior consolidation right there. Okay, so you can see price structure consolidating over prior consolidation. That's always bullish. Okay, anytime price is moving up and it's over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. Price action, not quite in the upper third yet, so we're still kind of neutral right here. All right, but definitely acting bullish. Okay, we're still in an uptrend. We're making higher lows and we're making higher highs. I didn't make a higher high yesterday or today, but we are moving. We have been moving up. Okay, so there's IWM. Let's take a look at our technicals. T2122. Well, yesterday we spent the day in the overbought zone. Today we're spending some time in the buyer's chop zone right here at the midpoint. Hopefully we're putting in a higher low, and I hope tomorrow to see us back in the buy zone or the overbought zone. We'll see what happens. GDP tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning. T2123, 15-minute chart. Look at price structure move up, hold that higher ground up there. That's bullish. Look at this bullish gap, not filled by the bears. That's a clue. All right, right there. Not just consolidation over prior consolidation, but a bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. That's a clue that we're bullish. You want to stay with the trend, stay with the momentum, stay bullish. That's showing you that the bears are weak and the bulls have more control than the bears do, because they're not the bears aren't filling these bullish gaps. Okay, look at all the bullish gaps that aren't getting filled. Okay, we got one here. We got one here. Okay, see, we got one right there. We got one right there. We got one right there. See all these bullish gaps that aren't getting filled? Oh, there's a huge one right there. Okay, another one right here. Okay, you can see now this one got filled because you can see price action came down there. Okay, this one got filled. Okay, but this one still not filled, and some of these over here still haven't been filled. That's showing you, if we look at the price structure again, you can see we've got consolidation over prior consolidation. It's always a bullish environment anytime you see that. Okay, consolidation over prior consolidation. That's always bullish. You can see right there. So there's look at price move up and hold the higher ground. Okay, you can see price moves up and then holds the higher ground. That's always bullish, as opposed to moving up and giving it up. Okay, because that would be neutral. All right, but instead we got price moving up, holding the higher ground. Again, another bullish clue. Anytime you see price up over this rising 200 SMA, that's bullish clue right there, as long as price is moving up. Okay, you get price over this rising 200 SMA, that's bullish. Look at price making a higher low. Here's a high, and making higher highs. That's an uptrend. Okay, that's another bullish clue. telling you, you kind of want to find those 10-minute uptrends. Now today, you can see nothing but a move over to the right, consolidation. Now, if you were with me this morning, I said, you know, there's a really good chance that price just moves over to the right all day today after yesterday's breakout big move. And you can see right here, price did nothing but move over to the right. Okay, you can see little green, little red, little green, little red, little green, red. Okay, just mixed colors right there. But holding the higher ground up over this rising 200 SMA. Let's look at the 3-bar chart. My mouth's getting parched. Higher lows, higher highs, so that's uptrend. All right, we're up over fading 200 SMA or flat 200. Okay, and we're moving up. You can see we got 3 more green candle bars right there, or price bars. 3 more green ones. Over the 200 SMA, that's bullish. Making higher lows and higher highs, it's an uptrend. That's bullish. We're up over a prior all-time high. That's bullish. So price action holding the higher ground, that's bullish. So T2123 acting, still acting bullish. SPY still acting bullish. QQQ acting bullish. And the big one to watch is FNGU, still acting bullish. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. Look at this for FNGU today. Look at that. You know, bust a move right here, up and over to the right. Okay, consolidating over prior consolidation. Okay, this is what I'm telling you. See, like consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish right there. Again, what else do we have on here? We've got bullish gap up. It's not getting filled by the bears. Here's another bullish gap up. Never got filled by the bears. Okay, there's your clues right there. You know, price is on fire. The bulls are in charge. The bears are weak right now. Okay, the bulls have control. So you want to look for those uptrends. All right, because they're likely to go further and farther. Are those uptrends? We did nothing but move to the right today after yesterday's big move. But FNGU, made a new rally high for FNGU. So nice work on them. Up over the 200 SMA and moving up. Okay, that's bullish. Okay, making higher lows and higher highs. Obviously, that's an uptrend. That's always bullish as long as price is moving up. So there's FNGU. Let's take a look at a few sectors. We'll start off with XLE. All right, XLE just neutral right through here. Still in an uptrend, but struggling to hold that higher ground. You can see price action visited the pink line. That's the all-time high anchored VWAP a few days ago. All right, just couldn't quite hold it. I think a lot of that was I'm just going to say wartime price inflation or speculation. Okay, I think a lot of that was a little bit of wartime price speculation, which wound up pulling back. Hopefully they make a higher low. We'll see what happens. All right, they have been making higher lows and higher highs, so that's an uptrend. And it's good. That's bullish when price is moving up. But you can see yesterday they, or the day before that, you can see price went up and they gave it up. Okay, so over downtrend line 1 is bullish, but under downtrend line 2, that's kind of neutral right through there. You can see price action underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP, just still neutral. All right, we're not in the lower third, not in the upper third, so just kind of just still neutral here. But we have a little bit of bullish behavior. All right, we're not in the lower third. We are in uptrends. The problem is we're just not moving up. Okay, we're closing candles under bearish traps. That's bearish. Closing candles under the 17 EMA. That's also bearish right there. But we are holding the trend that seems to point up right now. So that's bullish. So there's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. Again, you can see USO was up in bullish quadrant 4, and they went up and they gave it up. Okay, again, a lot of that was price speculation, and I don't know if you watched my prior videos, but you heard me say there's a good chance that this comes tumbling down after all the speculation is finished. Okay, so here we are moving up, giving it up. Hopefully we got a higher low. Okay, that would be nice. See price turn around and start melting up. Doesn't have to get there in 2 candles. I just like to see it start to melt up. That would be nice for USO. Again, higher lows, a lot of higher low, and we're getting there's a high, higher highs. That's an uptrend. Okay, we're up over 3-year high anchored VWAP. Okay, so that's bullish in nature, but we're just moving up, giving it up. That's neutral. All right, so not in the upper third, not in the lower third, still in an uptrend. So we're acting bullish, but here's the problem: we're not moving up. We're not holding that higher ground. Okay, we need to hold higher ground. And I said chances are they give up that higher ground, and here we are today. So here's USO. Okay, still neutral. All right, neutral, but on the bullish side of neutral. All right. Up over that 3-year high anchored VWAP. That's that post-COVID high. See the COVID rally, post-COVID rally? Okay, so that's the high coming off that post-COVID rally from, here's 2020 COVID. All right, so here's that rally from 2020 COVID, and that's the post-COVID high right there. Okay, so there's the anchored VWAP coming off of that. And you can see we're up over that. That's good. All right. It's kind of neutral, but it's good. We're on the bullish side of neutral, so that's looking good there. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG again, lower high, lower low. And UNG, I don't know if they made a lower low here. We're going to find out in a second. All right, low here is 1570. Low here is 1574. Okay, so. Believe it or not, even with this pullback, they're still in an uptrend. But the problem is, just like the other ones, it's not moving up. Like XLE, like USO, it's just not moving up. And you can see us closing underneath the uptrend line. That's kind of bearish, and we close under the uptrend line. Closing under bearish trap, that's bearish. Closing under a 17 EMA. On the daily chart, that's kind of bearish too. And we're closing underneath, well, this is a 12-month high anchored VWAP. That's probably even an 18-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, so that's still can't get over that 18-month high anchored VWAP. That's pretty pathetic. That shows me weakness, and we're in the lower third. So this is bearish. We're still hanging on to an uptrend by 4 pennies, all right? And obviously not moving up. Again, you can see price structure. Move up and give it up, okay? Which makes it neutral. And we're still down here in the lower third, okay? So there's the quadrants. Still down here in the lower third. That makes us bearish, all right? So this is bearish still, okay? Still struggling to hold higher ground. UNG, just not ready yet. Okay, maybe another 6 months it'll be ready. Right now, not so much. Actually kind of showing a head and shoulders pattern. This being the head, left shoulder, right shoulder right here. Okay, so that's UNG. Let's take a look at gold and silver. I think silver had a nice day today. Gold making a higher low and a higher high, but still closing under a bearish trap. Still over that all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Okay, up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Look at price structure, hold the higher ground up here. That's bullish. Up over the uptrend line, bullish. Everything's still looking good for gold. Gold still looking strong, holding that higher ground. Gold on the daily chart, that's still bullish. Still in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. They have not made any lower lows yet. Okay, they did here, but then we came back and made a higher high, so that put us in an uptrend. See that high right there? We made a higher high, so that put us in an uptrend. So there's gold. Let's take a look at silver. Silver had a nice day. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap and over the 17. Both of that's bullish. Up there in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. Also bullish. Over this 12-year high anchored VWAP. I know that only showing you about 9 months there, but that is a 12-year high right there. So making new 12-year highs recently, about 5 days ago right there. So there's silver. That's still bullish. It's in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. And it's holding that quadrant 4. That's bullish up there. So there's silver. Let's take a look at SMH. All right, SMH quadrant 4. Look at this. Consolidating over prior consolidation. Bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Quadrant 4. Over the trap. Over the 17. All of that is bullish. Okay? SMH. That's bullish up there. XLK. XLK puts in a new all-time high. Okay, didn't we just say QQQ did that? All right, so that's bullish, okay? No matter how you spin it, how you look at it, that's bullish. You don't really need to go into anything else. It says it all, making a new all-time high. XLK is bullish. XLF. All right, XLF, inside day, closing up here over the consolidation, that's bullish. Over the trap, over the 17, up in quadrant 4. All of that's bullish. Still in an uptrend because we're making higher lows and higher highs. So we're still in an uptrend. And we're up over that all-time high anchored VWAP. Consolidating. Look at price structure here. It's looking good. Okay, it's moving up. Let's get something a little bit thicker here. Okay, moving up and holding the higher ground. That's always bullish. Whenever you see it, hold that higher ground. Okay, so that's XLF. Let's take a look at IYT. All right, IYT was in the upper third this morning, all right, when we were looking at yesterday's candle. Now they're just kind of in quadrant 3, so still neutral, all right? Struggling to stay up here over this all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, nice. Not a bad day today, but still a lower high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17 is bullish. Holding this higher ground here, that's bullish, but struggling to hold over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so it was bullish this morning from looking at yesterday's candle. Now looking at today's candle, we're back to neutral because we're not in the upper third, we're not in the lower third. We are holding this area over the midpoint, so that's kind of bullish in nature right there. I guess they need to get some more spinach and mustard so they can finally start making some consolidation over prior consolidation. Got a little triple top going on here on IYT, but let me just say they're not going away, and that is bullish, the idea that they're not going away. All right, I'll take questions in the room. Other than that, I'll see you guys all tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me today. I kind of predicted today would be a move to the right, and that's pretty much what we got. Maybe I think we get a nice breakout tomorrow. All right, so today was the wind up. All right, we'll get a clean chart. Today was the wind up of price just moving from the overnight range, from the overnight low and to the overnight highs right there. So we just stuck in that range, just consolidating, winding up right here. So tomorrow's GDP, look for that breakout. I think we get a nice pop tomorrow, maybe up to 610, maybe up to 613, maybe up to 620. We'll see. Hey, thanks, Alan. Thanks, Jordo. Thanks, everybody. Fido, appreciate it. Ed, thank you for sharing. Gene, Bob, Eric, thank you all for hanging out with me. Mel, Roasted, Kathy, Sarah, Mike42, appreciate it, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Judy, all right, everybody, see you all tomorrow. at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll get set up for GDP. Should be a nice move tomorrow. I see a lot of wind up going on right here all day. Some from yesterday and a lot more today. All right, so I think we get a nice move. Look out 620. I think here we come. Again, we're bullish. See this? This is the clue. All right, the bulls are in control because we're not filling any of those bullish gaps. All right, and we're going to stay bullish until it's not, and it's still bullish right there. All right, tomorrow, 8 o'clock. I'll see you guys. Thank you. Everybody have a wonderful evening.